And the winner of the match in 13 minutes and 25 seconds, and the number one contender for the Raw Women's Championship, Alexa Bliss. Alexa wins it via the Twisted Bliss. Let me say this. Dakota and Io came out with Bayley, but Becky Lynch came out and chased them away. So that ensured a one-on-one match. And let me tell you, when it comes to Bayley and Alexa, these two know each other well and have been having matches for years. So they wasted no time getting right to work. Their chemistry has never faded. So they were being aggressive right away, knowing they would be able to take care of each other. While they had one or two awkward moments for the most part, this was a solid outing from two former women's champions. After Bayley allowed herself to become too distracted by Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss was able to hit the Twisted Bliss for the win. Bliss offered Belair a hug as she was celebrating, but then Bray Wyatt's symbol flashed on the screen. She grabs Bianca Belair and was about to hit Sister Abigail, but she came to her senses and let her go. Bliss walked off looking confused and frustrated. Having Belair at ringside but not having her sit with the commentary team felt like a weird choice. And considering she is one of the smallest women on the roster, it's kind of awesome that Alexa Bliss is also one of the hardest hitters. Her opponents always sell her right hand like they were hit with a brick. And the Hurricanrana that Bliss hit from the middle rope was awkward, and she landed on the back of her head, but she appeared to be fine. I'm going to give it about 3.25, teetering on 3.5. One of the top fights of the night for sure. And, a huge win for Alexa. And now we get Alexa and Bianca. That's a fresh matchup for the Raw Women's Championship. And I think it's only a matter of time before Alexa Bliss goes back to that Bray Wyatt-like character that she had beforehand. So, definitely keep an eye on that. I mean, we saw those facial expressions on her during the build to the War Games, and then tonight it really came full circle as she teased Sister Abigail on Bianca, but didn't pull the trigger. So I don't know if it's going to be a future Raw because we got a lot of time still before the Royal Rumble. I don't know if they're going to hold. I doubt they're going to hold this until the Rumble. That would be too far out. I could see this being a future Raw down the road. So I don't know when, but we'll find out soon enough. But nonetheless, that's the biggest singles win for Alexa in some time, and now golden opportunity for Alexa to become the Raw Women's Champion. So we'll find out what happens when we get to it. So 3.25, teetering on 3.5 for me. So MF, finally, I mean, don't get us wrong, Bayley and Bianca had some great matches, but I think it was about time for a fresh matchup. And Bianca and Alexa, Raw Women's Championship, especially if Alexa goes back to that Bray Wyatt character, look out.
Yeah, this is going to be very interesting to watch. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a solid match. 3.25 stars is what I'm going to give it. And the thing is, like you said, you could see the confliction. She went for the hug. She was so happy for the moment because if you remember, about a couple of years ago, Alexa Bliss was Female Wrestler of the Year. In all of our minds, when we were on the other program, when we were actually under, and I hope I don't get in trouble for this, but I'm going to say it, when we were under the Wrestling Forum banner, now we are Talking Wrestling TXN, but when we were under the Wrestling Forum banner, Alexa Bliss was our Wrestler of the Year. I think it was, about 3 or 4 years ago she won that honor. So I think now, and she has been a great character, everything else, but the one thing that was eluding her was championship gold. Remember, she was the Golden Goddess. Now, I know that got me in trouble. I know that got Florio in trouble, especially with Dee Dee Woodson because of the goddess name. But we were always referring her as the Golden Goddess. Now, we're thinking in our minds, could she get back to that level? Well, this might be the first step. We're going to have to wait and see how it plays out. But she has definitely elevated her game within the last few years. So we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, this was at least 3.25 stars. Anthony, it's yours.
All right, and Matthew will be leading off on our next relevant segment here. Well, then we had the phenomenal AJ Styles with Luke Gallows and Mia Yim in his corner. You notice there was no Carl Anderson. MF, I'm sure you know the reasoning behind that. I know Carl Anderson went to Japan. I guess Carl Anderson is in Japan, maybe never open weight commitment.
Yes, he's actually heading back to Japan because he is going to be defending his never openweight championship. This was supposed to have been a match against Hikuleo. The match was pushed back. It was supposed to have been done during Survivor Series week. Never happened. Now WWE and New Japan have struck a deal, and now this title fight will be going down in the next couple of days. Yes.
And that's why Carl Anderson was not out there with AJ Styles, Luke Gallows, and Mia Yim of the OC. AJ Styles went up against Chad Gable. Gable, of course, had Otis in his corner. Winner of the match in 9 minutes and 5 seconds. It was the phenomenal AJ Styles. AJ winning the match with the Styles Clash. And MF, been a rough few days for Master Gable and Otis after getting humiliated and embarrassed by Kurt Angle on Friday Night SmackDown. Milk-O-Mania running wild at once again. Just like we saw back in August of 2001, the night after SummerSlam, when he did it to Stone Cold in the Alliance. But yeah, it goes from bad to worse. I mean, you get humiliated by the Hall of Famer Kurt Angle and the newcomer Gable Steveson Friday night, and then tonight you lose to the phenomenal AJ Styles in what was a solid match that I wish we could have had more of.
Yeah, I agree with that. It should have been a longer fight. Time that's a little bit of a bad moment for WWE. Is normally you never, and I get it. Monday Night Raw, it's 3 hours. You want to try to pack in as much as you can, but when you ever get quality matches like a Chad Gable versus AJ Styles, this is one of those that it would not hurt if you give them 10 to 15 minutes. Like a match like that, you don't necessarily have to worry about a match like that. That's actually better for what it's worth. But yeah, at the end, I thought it was a bad situation. Could have been a lot more better, but I'll still give it 3 because I thought it was a solid fight. But again, that rating should have been a lot more higher and would have been a lot more higher given more ample time. So Anthony, it's yours.
Agreed. Solid 3 for the effort. This was a battle of technical prowess, and that is something both men have in spades. Whenever Styles would try to take Gable down, the former Olympian would counter it perfectly. There isn't much to say about the quality of this match. These are two of the most versatile performers on the roster, and they did a solid job with the time they were given. They got pressed for time, although you know the word I want to use, honestly, but you know how I feel. AJ Styles has to have one of the top 10 drop kicks of all time. It's always so precise. And you noticed one of the LED screens on the barricade was busted when Gable sent Styles into it. WWE must have a huge budget allocated for all of the LED boards because that kind of stuff gets messed up all the time. So a couple of notable observations on that. So that was a solid 3 stars. Would have liked to have seen a little more, but it is what it is. Then we had a 6-man tag team matchup, the Judgment Day. Dominic Mysterio, Finn Balor, and Damian Priest squaring off against Akira Tozawa and the Street Profits. And the winners of the match, in 14 minutes and 45 seconds, it was the Judgment Day. Yeah. I'm going to give this this is definitely right up there as for Fight of the Night honors. No question about it. I'm going to give this about 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star. This match ended up being highly physical and pretty entertaining. Dominic's time in the ring was shorter than everyone else, so that may have been a factor. And this ended up being a highly enjoyable match with several standout moments. Letting Akira Tozawa go back to the version of his character that he was when he first showed up in WWE was absolutely, positively the best thing for him. He is an incredible wrestler, former cruiserweight champion of the world, mind you, who deserves to be allowed to do more than campy comedy segments. Not only has Angelo Dawkins gotten better in the ring, but he has continued to work on his physique. He spent so long in developmental, but it's great to see he is still committed to making improvements. And without Rhea Ripley, Judgment Day would not work. She can add so much just by standing next to the ring because you never know what she is going to do. And that's not the last time we're going to be calling out Rhea Ripley's name on this show tonight. Montez Ford nailed Damian Priest with a stiff backhand, and all it did was fire Priest up even more. And it was one of the most subtly brutal moments of the match. Priest got him back a moment later when he sent Ford flying over the announce table with a pounce. And Akira Tozawa's Tope Suicida looked absolutely incredible. It was almost Darby Allin-like, if I'm going to be honest with you. That's how great it was. Very good match. You can, I mean, if you were to call this fight of the night, I would not be mad at it because it's definitely up there. It's definitely 1 and 2. So there is no doubt about that. It's at least top 2. So 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star. Great 6-man tag. So not much more to say. MF, Judgment Day may have picked up the win in this 6-man, but I got to tell you, when was the last time that we saw Akira Tozawa look this good in a match? It's been a long time since we've seen Akira Tozawa, actually look decent in a match. So, that's all I can say on that. I mean, that's the best I've seen him look in a long time. So, all right, MF, 3.5, 3 3/4 is my rating. And like I said, when was the last time we saw Akira Tozawa look this good in a match? Forever?
I know, yeah. Look, you can say whatever you want to say about what Judgment Day does, but when you get Akira Tozawa and you partner him up with guys like that, absolutely, they look amazing. I think there's really nothing more to say. Uh, they're remarkable. They're remarkable. So yeah, there's really nothing more for us to say here. This is one of those kind of nights where you're just like, it is what it is. They did really good. So I thought it was more than anything else. Yeah, I get it. It's one of they did really good. 3 stars, 3.5, at least 3.5, 3 3/4. Yeah, you could put Fight of the Night honors if you wanted to. I won't disagree with that either. Nothing really more to say. So Floyd, what's yours?
All right. All right. And then this is where the show started to take a dive a little bit, and not in a good way. In-ring segment. Well, there was a segment with Dexter Lumis and Johnny Gargano. Some holiday silliness here, giving away some holiday merchandise to the fans. And then the Miz came out and grabbed the money. Adam Pearce said, No. You give that money back to him. He beat you fair and square for it. And Miz said, hey, I'm desperate here. And he says, hey, you know what? I'm willing to face him in a match. And next Monday night on Raw, we're going to have ourselves a ladder match for money. Something that hasn't been done on Monday Night Raw since May of 1993, when the late, great Razor Ramon put $10,000 on the line against the 1-2-3 Kid, and that was in a ladder match as well, if I recall right. Or it was some sort of match for $10,000, but I don't know if you've ever had.
I believe it. I believe you're right, and if I remember, Mr. Perfect cost Razor $10,000, if I remember correctly. That the 1-2-3 Kid ended up winning the $10,000. Yes.
Yep, and there it is. Okay, I got it. Yep, it was back in 1993. It was the June 21st It was on Monday Night Raw, an early Monday Night Raw back on June 21st of 1993. I believe that was at the Mid-Hudson Civic Center in Poughkeepsie, I believe, which is where that match went down. And yep, and as I'm looking into the history of it, yep, 10 grand was on the line. And well, actually, it was a short match, but it was solid. There was a horrific botch that saw, the kid slip off the top rope. And then actually, the kid actually grabbed the money and ran out into a waiting car and then drove away before Razor could catch up to him. So Mr. Perfect did not interfere in that match. So, but relive that on Peacock because they have all the episodes of Monday Night Raw. That was June 21st of 93. But nonetheless, what I'm getting at is next Monday night, there's going to be a ladder match for money. There's going to be 2 bags of money hanging above, and whoever pulls down both bags will win that money. So we'll see what happens with that. All right. Then we had Io Sky squaring off against Candice LeRae, and Io Sky wins the match in 10 minutes and 20 seconds. So, MF, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it was what it needed it to be. Of course, Io, because of what happened about a week ago when you had that shocking upset, which I believe it was Dakota Kai losing to Candice LeRae. Now Io gets a measure of revenge for her partner, getting the win over Candice, the Poison Pixie herself. That just kind of was something that they played with. It was an all right match. Could have been a lot more better, but it was still a solid matchup. So I'll give this about maybe 2.5. And Anthony, it's yours.
I'm going to be a little more generous on this. I'm going to give it about 3 for this. Excuse me. Io Sky and Candice LeRae know each other very well from their time in NXT, so they were able to put on a good show for the crowd. Thankfully, the shenanigans with Dakota Kai and Bayley at ringside were kept to a minimum, so these 2 veterans could focus on what is going on in the ring. Sky ended up winning clean with the over the moonsault. At some point, Bayley might become upset that she is having the least amount of success in her own group. And it would have been funny if Becky Lynch showed up with a chair again and just kept chasing Damage Control all night. I know MF would have gotten a kick out of that. Bayley sat with the commentary team, but Corey Graves said her headset wasn't working. So she just kind of sat there for a while, and it was a weird moment. But stuff like that happens with live production sometimes. Candice LeRae was bleeding from her elbow after the break and favoring her arm a bit. Io Sky coming within inches of hitting a sunset flip powerbomb on the floor, only to have Candice LeRae hold on to the ropes was a great spot. Solid 3, maybe 3.25 for that. Then we had Elias doing his usual shtick in the ring, pre-match song, tried to do a little tribute, a small little tribute concert to Matt Riddle. Unfortunately, some disturbing news came out about Matt Riddle. Michael Bullock shared it in our Talking Wrestling TXM Messenger chat. You were wondering, what is going on? Is he hurt? No, he's not hurt. He failed the drug test.
Yeah, a very unfortunate news that happened. We don't know what it was. We don't know what he did. I mean, there are rumors that what it could have been that he failed, but we're not gonna go there. But we do hope that Matt Riddle actually gets the help that he needs, and we wish him nothing but the best in his recovery. Just poor judgment, and definitely a horrible time for that drug test failure they hit. I do believe it's a that has to be a wellness policy violation as well. Mm-hmm. If that's the case, I believe this. I don't know if this is his first or second offense. That we need to know. We need to dig into. If it's a first offense, I know it's a 30-day. If it's a second offense, I think it's 60 to 90, and then I know if it's the third, he's gone. You're out of WWE permanent. So I don't know if it's a first or a second. It sounds like it's in the second offense, which means that's between 60 and 90 days, which means if that's the case, he might be on the razor's edge of even making Royal Rumble.
Well, WWE said 6 weeks. That's what WWE said. So if that's the case, he should be back just in time for the Rumble.
Yeah.
If it's 6 weeks.
Yeah. So
2, 3, 4. Yeah, right around either the 16th or the 23rd of January at the earliest. So
he should be back in time for Rumble. Yeah.
If all goes well.
If all goes well.
And he keeps his nose clean. So
yeah.
So that's what was going on there. So Elias tried to do a little tribute concert for him, and it was interrupted by his opponent this evening, Solo Sikoa. So it was Elias squaring off against Solo Sikoa. Solo Sikoa wins the match, 8 minutes and 15 seconds. I could give this about 2.5 to 2 3/4 of a star. This was a match between two big, strong dudes, but Sikoa was the aggressor for most of the fight. The enforcer of the bloodline picked up the win with his finisher to end a relatively basic but solid match. And then KO ended up saving Elias from a further beating, but then delivered the stunner to him anyway. And Sikoa has explosive power, and the way he picked up Elias for a Samoan drop like it was no big deal was very impressive. So this was about 2.5 to 2 3/4 of a star for the effort. I would say by default, this was the worst fight of the night, even though it was nothing overly bad about it. But MF, you noticed Solo Sikoa has added. We saw this last week, and he's. I think this might be a new thing with him now.
He's with the homage to his to a late family member, Umaga. He brings in the amniotic spike.
Yes. That was a running gag between myself and MF back in the days when we were having the Raw chats, many years ago. Especially when Umaga, or as William Regal would always call him, Yamanga. Yeah, I always loved that. And of course, whenever Umaga used the Samoan spike, MF, when we were doing our JR and King thing back in the day, when he would hit him with that, MF would do the ow, and then the amniotic spike, and then to put it in the bucket or whatever, and it's over. So, but there you go. So,
or 2.5, I used to say you can count till 1,000. This one is over.
Yeah. Yes. That's right. So, 2.5, 2 3/4. That's my rating for it. But MF, now that Sikoa has not only the amniotic spike, but when he does that running charge into the corner, that Umaga also did. Solo's even more dangerous than he was before.
Yeah, I was about to say, you're starting to see a little more of the iterations of the Umaga coming out of Solo Sikoa. And I think that's going to do wonders for him because of the fact that he's already a rough, rugged, and a tough dude. He's not one to sleep about. But now he's starting to use more of those the traits of the bloodline. He truly is starting to use more of that style, and why not? If you're gonna use some of your relatives, why not use Umaga? Use some of the Wild Samoans. You got some moves that you could use from the Yokozuna tree. There's a lot of moves that you could use that is trademarks and would be great traditional nods to your family, to the bloodline. So I think for them to do that is awesome. I would like to see Solo continue that a little more. And when he did the spike, I was saying the same thing. Even though now I'm no longer the lead commentator for Monday Night Raw, it's Anthony now that does the Monday Night Raw. I'm kind of the and I even said it. I like, the amniotic spike strikes again. And that's when Floyd was like, he would always correct me now, saying, it's Samoan spike, Fletcher. It's Samoan spike, not amniotic. So
Yeah, and then I would say it's over. 2, 3.
it's over.
Yep, that was another one right there. So, yep. I maybe on a couple occasions here and there I would say that, but I actually liked when you did the amniotic spike. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I like
because
that.
because of the way that I used to do it, guys. So nothing more to say. It was good. It was solid. I could go with the 3. I'll go 3 with it. Nothing more to say. Florio, it's yours.
All right, and we and MF we move on. We renew a great women's rivalry. Of course, we think about WrestleMania 37 when we think about this matchup, the Sunday night of WrestleMania 37, the second night at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, when these two battled for the Raw Women's Championship. As it was Asuka squaring off against Rhea Ripley. Of course, Rhea Ripley had Dominic Mysterio in her corner. Dominic paid dividends in this one. Rhea Ripley wins the match 11 minutes and 40 seconds because of Dom with the distraction. Asuka had the Asuka lock on Rhea, but Dominic got Rhea's foot on the rope, and that look on Asuka's face. Oh, that look on Asuka's face.
And I will say this, and Dom paid quite the price for messing with the Empress of Tomorrow.
Blue mist.
Oh yeah.
Usually it was green, but this time around it was blue.
And yeah, even though the match ended, and yes, Rhea won the match, but the real thing was exactly what happened when Dom got the mist in the eyes. And everybody, and I loved Corey Graves with this about why is nobody helping Dom? Why is nobody helping Dom? How what is wrong with these people? Why they? Well, let's just say Dom burned quite a few bridges along the way, and what you see is what you're getting. Dom, you reaped what you sow, and you made the bed that you lied in, bro. Now you're dealing with the consequences of your actions, and so there you go. That's all I'm gonna say. And it was a solid match, but I gotta say I'm thoroughly disappointed though. I kind of felt like if you really let Rhea and Asuka do what they did, like WrestleMania, I think this match would have been really good. I think it would have been a lot better than what it was. Unfortunately, because of the interference and everything that got into it, I'm going to be a little harsh, and I know I'm going to be harsh on this. 2.5 stars. That's all I can really give it because of I think the interference was a little too much for me with this match because Rhea and Asuka, we saw how good they can go at WrestleMania. I'm just a little disappointed because when you saw this match on paper, you're thinking, well, maybe
the night potential.
Yeah, but it didn't even come close. Anthony, it's yours.
I'll be a little more generous. I'll give this about 3 to 3.25 for the effort. I'll say it like this. The ending was goofy, but it was a good match from two gifted performers. And Asuka did not have her usual face paint. Her mask seemed more basic. It seems like she is making small changes to prepare for the character shift that she's been teasing on social media. Dominic Mysterio was with Rhea Ripley, but Finn Balor and Damian Priest nowhere to be seen. And a couple of Asuka's kicks were really stiff, but Ripley just took them and kept moving. I mean, wow. And that blue mist, yeah, that was something. But that look, the look that she had on her face, if I could, put one of those tiny caption bubbles in there, I would I'd be going a little bit to the extreme. But I'll put it for MF to see in the chat what I thought Asuka was thinking with that look. Let's just say it's a line from one of my favorite sports movies of all time, Major League. I'm gonna say it like that. So yeah. So
I think I know where you're going with this, but but put it in the chat or something. Yeah, put it in. But think I know where you're going, but I just wanna make sure that I'm not gonna. 'Cause I
Right.
know it's not for PG, so we're just gonna leave it at that, folks, and
Exactly.
we'll be professional here. But yeah, I think I know where you're going with it, but I'll see what you say in a minute.
Yeah. So so that's all I'm gonna say on that. So with that being said, yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. All right. My yeah. So 3.25 for me. So that's my thought on it. So with that, the main event, the other number one contender match, the big number one contender match for the United States Heavyweight Championship. The champ, it was Seth frickin' Rollins squaring off against the almighty Bobby Lashley. And the winner of the match, 12 minutes and 55 seconds. And the number one contender for Austin Theory in the United States Heavyweight Championship, Seth frickin' Rollins. And then after the match, Bobby Lashley was absolutely livid. He tried to attack Raw senior referee Chad Patton, who was the referee for this match. And then another referee comes into the ring. At first, I thought it was Danilo Amphibio, but no, it was not him. I think it was Eddie Orengo. I think Eddie Orengo was the one who caught the elbow from Lashley. And then Adam Pearce comes out and tries to calm Lashley down. And then Lashley got in Adam Pearce's face. And I think there was definitely quite a bit of some cussing going on. And then Adam Pearce had enough. And Adam Pearce pulled a Vince McMahon by saying, Bobby Lashley, you are fired. What? Okay. As for the match, it was about 3.25 to 3.5 stars. These two have had several encounters in recent months, so they have learned how to work together to make each other look as good as possible. They're both veterans, so their experience and their chemistry allowed them to put on a great performance. As Lashley prepared to finish off his opponent, Rollins turned his spear into a pedigree and scored the win. The Almighty was irate and took out Raw referee Eddie Orengo. Adam Pearce came out and tried to talk some sense into him, but after he shoved Adam Pearce, Pearce said Lashley was fired. And Theory was shown watching on a TV and was way too close to the screen. Rollins has a great jumping enziguri, and Rollins catching Lashley's spear and turning it into a pedigree looked really good. So 3.25, 3.5 stars. Rollins now the number one contender for the U.S. title. We'll see when they decide to do that match. That could be a future Raw, or that could be. I doubt they're going to hold that off until the Rumble, but we'll wait and find out. So 3.25, 3.5 for me. So MF Rollins gets another shot at Theory, but Bobby Lashley fired? What? What in the world is going on around here?
Yeah, that makes I don't can't make much sense of that. I kind of felt like that was a bit unnecessary. I don't know why. I don't know where the story goes from there, unless they're thinking about moving Lashley to SmackDown. That's the only thing I can think of. But as far as like overall, I don't know, guys. I kind of felt like that's one of those where it didn't need to go there. I kind of feel like that was somewhat of a swing and a miss. Just me personally, me honestly. But I mean, we'll wait and see how it plays out. But nah, I thought this was a solid. It was a solid main event. I just think that the post match kind of hurt the overall product. But 3.5 to 3.75, you could slight chance at 4, but I'm more 3.5, 3.5, 3.75. So Florio is yours.
All right, MF, your overall thoughts on this Monday Night Raw from Milwaukee or Milwaukee, Algonquin for the good land tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. 7.5. I thought it was a solid show. Yeah, the middle was a little weak. Could have been a lot more better than what it was. But all in all, I thought they did an all right job. I thought the match was pretty well. I thought the action was pretty was all right. There was a really good start at the beginning. There was a pretty good main event in the middle, and even I'll say the first hour was solid. And you could say maybe the final hour was like the last 45 minutes of Raw was pretty good. But there was a little gap, about an hour and 15-minute gap, where you could totally just bypass that part. Unfortunately, there is like an hour and 15-minute gap that you can totally just bypass it. You don't need to watch it. There's nothing relevant there for anything for you guys to watch. But all in all, I thought it was an all right show. So 7.5. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, 7.5 for me. I know we are going with that. There were some points on this show tonight that I kind of thought that they were throwing some McMagma BS at us. That can't be comedy, funny, ha nonsense that we used to dump on our shows for so many years, especially on this show. It was very rare we would get that on the Cerebral Smack Talk, but there were some moments where we did it on that show too, but a lot of it was really on this show. But the saving grace was all the matches were solid to good to great, and we had two that really stood out. Of course, the one that really stood out was that 6-man tag with the Judgment Day, the Street Profits, and Akira Tozawa. Not only the fight of the night, but the sleeper fight of the night. That ended up being a lot better than it had any right to be. And boy, that was a phenomenal match. So all the other matches, like I said, really good. Not one bad match, but there was some of that campy comedy, funny, ha nonsense that that we've never really been a fan of. But it is what it is. So so with that, 7.5 for me as well. So now all right, here we go. Now we're gonna have some fun now. Tony's take time, and of course we've got Impact Wrestling and NXT Level Up. But of course, Impact Wrestling starts it off, and we started off with, well, it was from the old Paris Town Hall in Louisville, Kentucky, and we started it off with a World Tag Team title matchup. The champions, Heath and Rhino, defending against the challengers and former Impact World Tag Team champions in their own right, the Motor City Machine Guns, Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley. Unfortunately, the fight gets thrown out in 8.5 minutes after outside interference from the major players, Matt Cardona and Brian Myers. Automatic NA. It was starting to cook when the ending cut things off. The players are a more interesting option right now, and odds are this sets up a 3-way down the line. That's not the worst idea, as the players should have been tag champions a good while ago. Beating the popular champs and the Guns would be a nice way to get there, as this match showed what the other two can do on their own. And then we had Savannah Evans squaring off against Taya Valkyrie. And Savannah Evans in 10 minutes and 21 seconds. About 3.25 for this. Savannah Evans, big win for her. You need to give her something like this every now and then, though it's more than a little weird to see her beat someone as successful as Taya Valkyrie. Still, though, interesting result that can do a lot more for Savannah Evans that it would have for Valkyrie, and definitely the biggest win for Savannah Evans in her career. Then we had Big Khan squaring off against Sami Callihan. And Khan actually wins the match in 6 minutes and 24 seconds. 2.5 stars. It was all right, though calling it the design and having a former member of the Ascension as a part of the team in 2022 was a bit hard to grasp. Khan is an acceptable enough power guy, but he's not likely to light the world on fire. Sammy is going to need some help to fight these guys off, and that probably doesn't bode well. And then what ended up being the main event of the evening, the World Heavyweight Champion, Josh Alexander, comes out, and he said, hey, Scott D'Amore gave me permission, and I want Bully Ray. Forget about Hard to Kill. I want Bully Ray tonight. And Bully says, not happening. We're going to save that for the Hard to Kill pay-per-view, January the 13th of 23. And you heard him. You heard Alexander say, hey, this is an open challenge, and somebody actually does come out and answer the open challenge. and it ended up being former X Division champion Speedball Mike Bailey. And here you go. We have a World Heavyweight Championship match. Champion Josh Alexander defending against the Speedball Mike Bailey. You're thinking, okay, this is probably going to get about 15, 20 minutes tops. No. Winner of the match in 59 minutes and 50 seconds. And still, the Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion, the walking weapon, Josh Alexander, with the C4 spike, with just seconds to go. 5-star classic. For me, I know a lot of people are saying Gunther and Sheamus is the match of the year in professional wrestling, but for me personally, this is my personal match of the year. Oh my goodness. That came out of nowhere. This was the long, epic style match that you don't see on television in any promotion, save for once in a very long while. These guys beat each other up, and if you ignore Bailey's still absurd selling issues, it was awesome. Alexander takes out another name, and they even surprised me by not going to a time limit draw in the end. Speedball will very likely be back, but for now, this worked rather well as a big time surprise. And the match is online. You can watch it on YouTube, uncut, no commercials. It's all there. The entire bout. Go out of your way to see this, friends, because this, oh my God, I was thinking 15 to 20 minutes at most. I really did.
Maybe 30 at best.
If we were lucky.
If we were lucky. But the thing
59.50.
But here's the thing. Go and see the uncut version. Yes. With the no commercials. That alone gives you the 5 stars. Yep. And the thing is that when you get 2 professional wrestlers at their age, at their level and the talent that they're going, and you just let them go, I wish WWE does this more. I know AEW has given us matches like this where they've gone that level and given us amazing. And like you said, Gunther and Sheamus from Clash at the Castle is by far widely regarded as Fight of the Year. There's no doubt. This is Impact's Fight of the Year, and at least is in the top 3 for overall Fight of the Year. Even though I think a lot of people will not notice it because it's Impact Wrestling. But yeah, without a doubt, go out of your way to see this. This is something you would see from like New Japan. Like that type of level of a fight. Oh my God. And normally, the biggest criticism that sometimes you get is that when a match is that long, there has to be pockets of, all right, maybe they slow down in certain areas and then ramp it. No, this was consistent throughout. I don't even think there was a slow period in this match at all, Anthony.
No.
Now, you know better than I do, but I don't think there was a slow period in this match. It was just consistently great, just building up and getting better and better by the minute. I think like 20 or 25 minutes into the fight, we were already at the 5-star level. That's how crazy it was.
Those near falls, man. Those near falls.
Yeah. So, yeah. Anthony was right. This was definitely 5 stars. There's no argument. Now, if you want to put an argument for Fight of the Year, I know a lot of people will say no, and I get it, but you have to at least put it in, at least for me personally, this is in the top 3 for Fights of the Year. No doubt. This is probably in my number 3 slot for wrestling match of the year. So
I know there's Gunther and Sheamus, but what else is there, MF?
It has to be something from AEW. Oh, actually, no. It's from New Japan. I'm trying to remember what fight, because it was from Wrestle Kingdom as well. It was a Wrestle Kingdom fight. I want to say it was. I think it was Okada versus White for the world title. I think. I gotta go back. I'll go back and I'll double check it. But I know Sheamus and Gunther is my number 1 right now. The New Japan fight was number 2. And this one right now is my number 3 for fight of the year.
I don't know if you'll ever see a better match than that if you live to be 100 years old, man.
No. I mean, yeah, it was that good. Go out of your way to watch that match. I hope Anthony can find it and link it because normally I would never ever recommend it, but Anthony, I would recommend that to find the video and link it like you always do when you put your announcements about the show, because in order for the world to see it, we need to have them understand why we're saying what we're saying. So when we say go out of your way to see it, we will make sure we go out of our way to see so that you guys can see that fight because it deserves it. It deserves your undivided attention. We'll say that.
Abso-freaking-lutely. And instant classic. That's all I'm going to say. So with that, and that match alone is the reason why that I gave this show an 8 out of 10. This was an 8 out of 10 show, and it was mainly because of that match. I mean, just incredible. I mean, it's a match that you seriously have to go out of your way to see, and that's why I gave it the 8. And to give a final thought on it, this is a show where the main event was almost all that mattered, as it took up nearly half of the show. They have a few weeks left before the Hard to Kill pay-per-view, and this was a way to burn a week off with a great main event without much in the way of major angle advancement. Very good show here, even if it was just a one-off change of pace. And yeah, no doubt about that. So how in the world is Impact Wrestling going to follow that? Well, this is how they're gonna follow it up. Coming up this Thursday night on Access TV, 8 p.m. Eastern, and then 8:30 for the YouTube. For those of you who have the Ultimate Insider deal, or you can just wait till it gets uploaded to Impact Plus at 10 p.m. commercial free, of course. And I have Impact Plus, so. But 3 matches have been set for that show. Heath and Rhino will once again defend the Impact World Tag Team Championship against the Motor City Machine Guns. The caveat being Matt Cardona and Brian Myers are barred from ringside. MF, I know you're going to love this matchup when I tell you what match we had here. Eddie Edwards is going to go one-on-one with Delirious.
Oh,
that did it. Eddie Edwards versus Delirious.
Oh no, Delirious.
That's an MF special.
Oh, he's okay. Ring of Honor fans, you already know this guy. He is one of the most oddball goofballs. He's nuts. He's crazy. He's hilarious. But don't judge a book by its cover. You're gonna think that this guy is a Captain Schizo, whack job, whatever he is, Anthony. But he is a damn good wrestler. He's entertaining. He's entertaining as hell. You probably won't know half the crap he's talking about because you're gonna be like, "What is he saying?" Like this is gonna be that. This is probably going to be that legendary Bobby Heenan. What the hell is this guy saying? But when you see him in the ring, he is amazing. Impact fans, get ready. Oh my God.
Yep. So there's a match for you to look forward to, MF. And then, last but not least, Sami Callihan will go one-on-one with Alan Angels, formerly Alan Five Angels of the Dark Order. He's now in Impact Wrestling, so he'll be going up against Sami Callihan on Thursday night. So check that out. And now one last order of business, of course, and that is NXT Level Up from this past Friday night. And one moment here as I get my notes up for this. Okay, here we go. We had Odyssey Jones one-on-one with Damon Kemp, and Odyssey Jones wins the match in 5 minutes and 10 seconds. It was nearly 5 minutes of arm work, and then Jones shaking it all off and finishing with relative ease. Not a good match. It was a half a star match. I'm sorry. Then we had Valentina Feroz going up against Sol Ruca, and Sol Ruca wins the match in 4.5 minutes. Sol Ruca's finisher was jaw-dropping, seriously. It was a 1.5 star. The finisher alone deserves a full star and maybe even more. And then the main event was Ike Manjiro against Trick Williams. And Trick Williams wins in 5 minutes and 50 seconds. It was the fight of the night, but that's not saying much. Trick was just on main event, so winning here wasn't a surprise. Ikemen is fun, and Trick is coming along. It was all right. 2-star match. I can only give it a 4.5 out of 10. As always, not a great in-ring show, but that's not the point. It's an easy 30-minute watch, and these kids are getting a chance to work in front of a crowd. And with that said, it was still a weaker show compared to others from this crew, but do check out Sol Ruca's finisher, though, by watching the replay or finding it on social media. So 4.5 out of 10 for that. And that will put the bow on this edition of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in, as always. We will be back with you Wednesday night, 10:30. And
correct.
Yep. I believe it's 10:30 on Wednesday and Thursday, and then 11 on Friday. Correct, MF?
That is correct. Wednesday night, 10:30, as we are recovering, as we'll be recapping NXT. And we're also, actually, we got 2 bits of pieces. First, we got to do NXT Deadline that we did not do. Then we also got the regular NXT, the fallout from that. And then, of course, we'll recap AEW Dynamite. Thursday night, a brand new edition.
Don't forget, we got a big Thursday night football game to preview as well.
That's true.
The San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks.
Yep. A big NFC Western Division matchup. Then, of course, Thursday, time pending, we will, of course, obviously we're going to be covering all the other games, and maybe we could give our initial recap or our initial thoughts of the Thursday night game, because hopefully by the time we do the show, that game will already be in the books. So,
Bullock and I got a little lucky last time with that Raider Ram game, so it ended during the show, so we were able to recap it and get the numbers and all that. So I think we got a good shot at it.
All right. Well, if we do, great. If we don't, then all right. Then we'll wait. Or we'll wait for the next show next week. But Thursday.
But Thursday night, though. NFL Thursday, Week 15 edition. Triple header on Saturday.
Yeah.
Including the big one in prime time, which is MF a must-win, if you know what I mean.
Yep, it definitely is. But it kind of lost its luster. If it would have been, if both teams would have been rolling into this would have been really a bigger matchup. But especially after what's been happening with Miami lately, that's not good. I'm not liking what I'm seeing from the Dolphins. And now we're going into Buffalo.
But it's still the game of the week, though.
Oh, yeah, it's still a game of the week. But like I said, it kind of lost a little bit of the oomph that it had going into it. But,
Yeah, but it's still going to be a great game. I mean, notable games to get into. Of course, we got Indianapolis and Minnesota. Minnesota can win the NFC North with a win. So
they've been trying for the last couple of weeks to try to get this win, and they haven't gotten it. So
yeah.
So I mean, this is their third try at this
to try to win the Norris. So, and then of course, Miami and Buffalo, obviously, and then when it comes to the Sunday slate of action, how about How about this for a sleeper game of the week? The Detroit Lions and the New York Jets.
Yeah. Lions, don't look now, man. Everybody talks about same old Lions, same old Lions. Oh no. This is brand new Lions, man. They look amazing, man. They can't be stopped, man. They've won 5 out of the last 6. They cannot be stopped right now.
No, they've gone 5-1 since starting 1-6.
Yeah.
So that is easily the sleeper game of the week, and it's in our top 4. It's in the upper echelon. So out of the 8-game slate, and then of course other notable games. Not too many other notable games. Of course, we also have the Tennessee Titans and the Los Angeles Chargers. Good one there. Cincinnati Bengals against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And of course, we also have the New England Patriots squaring off against the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, that game just got a little more interesting.
Especially with New England winning tonight. So Patriots winning on Monday Night Football, defeating the Arizona Cardinals 27-13. And then, of course, Sunday Night Football, the New York Giants and the Washington Commanders. Huge matchup. So we'll get into all of that on Thursday night. And then Friday night at 11, we got the Cerebral Smack Talk. We got Friday night SmackDown. Gunta versus Ricochet, Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. We got a women's tag team title match. Dakota Kai and Io Sky defending against Liv Morgan and Tegan Nox. And, of course, the Bloodline, the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. In Chicago, look out. IWC, capital of the world. My heart is racing just thinking about the epic pop those guys are going to get.
Mm-hmm.
They are going to get a hell of a pop.
Dude,
not just Roman, but Sami Zayn especially.
Everywhere they've been going, like we've had guys who's been following SmackDown, because a lot of the times you get the crowd noise, but there's those people who actually post those videos inside the arenas. Dude, when that music hits for Roman, it's explosive. What happens, man? He is without a doubt the biggest star in WWE. We know it because we were there for WrestleMania Backlash, and we remember that pop he got.
Oh yes.
That night, it was wow. Oof. Wow. Just the whole thing. Just the whole thing of Roman is just, yeah. There's nothing more to say.
Oh, Chicago.
Nothing more to say.
Chicago, get ready. IWC, capital of the world. That is going to be, oh my gosh, that's going to be fun. And in addition to that, we got AEW Rampage and NMF. I understand you're going to have a Mikey's Mindset because you just had we just had another RWA special event.
RWA goes Broadway, Columbus Theater, that went down just yesterday afternoon. I got full results. Yes, I actually took notes this time around. We got the full fight card and the outcome. And I will say this, at the end of the night, history was made, an unprecedented crowning. We have a new RWA heavyweight champion of the world, and you will not believe who it is. I'll bring that to you on Friday.
All right. Can't wait for that. So, and then we do it all again next Monday night for Ridiculously Raw for Christmas week. So there you go. So that's it. So until Wednesday night over on MF's channel, for Spain 95 for Wednesday Night Madness, it's Anthony Florio here for good old MF Michael Fletcher and in his spirit, the Phenom Michael Bullock and the First Lady, the Twisted Angel, Dee Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days. And until Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Madness, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Zone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. And remember, my friends, no matter what anyone tells you, beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio. So long, and bye, everybody. Bye.